Hello everyone, and welcome to a Sunday afternoon reading. It is a tricky reading. It's a big subject. It's a very sensitive subject. It's a very personal subject, as you will see from the title when I upload this reading. It's something that has always been floated around Meghan's chromosomes, shall we say. It's something that's always been talked about. It's something that would explain the alleged surrogacy, something that would explain some of the rather strange behavior, the hyperfeminism, the physical issues with her, those big feet that I talk about rather cruelly, the big hands. It's something that might explain an awful lot if it is true. I have no way of knowing if it's true or not, except to do a tarot reading. And of course, this is all just for entertainment purposes. And this is all just speculation and my opinion. I am using a new deck today. Not new in my life, new in the sense that I've had it for a while, but I haven't used it on this channel and I haven't really used it in my own life either. So it's been sitting on the bookcase where I keep all my tarot cards. It is the Lunar Soul Tarot. And as I've said to you before, when I'm thinking about a reading, I go to that bookcase in my office. I work from home, so it's my home office. I go, I look at the cards, I look at the boxes, I sometimes run my hand over them to get a feeling. And this one suddenly leapt out at me. As I say, I've had it for months. I just haven't ever felt like I wanted to use this deck. And when I took the cards out, and it's a very lovely deck, no harm to the deck for saying that I haven't wanted to use it so far. Beautiful cardstock, not too shiny, nice to shuffle, very pretty cards. It's a cards diversity deck. It is Lunar Soul, so it's light and dark, of course, as you can see from the back of the cards sitting there on the table. The card that was left in the box was one of the exclusive cards. It has, this deck has two exclusive cards, what they are called. That's what they are called. They are extra major arcana. And the card that stayed in the box and did not come out is this one. This is in the little book, and this card is the one that came out, Duality 23 in the Lunar Soul Tarot. Duality. So that, I think, pretty much confirmed that we have the right cards to use for this reading. It is the topic. I'm going to do a 7-card reading on it. The story has come into prominence because, of course, as I'm sure many of you know, Lady C did a YouTube chat about the topic. I think it was yesterday. And allegedly, one of Meghan's long-time friends from her childhood, someone who spent an awful lot of time with her growing up, we can all maybe speculate who that is, but I'm certainly not going to name names here, and Lady C was very careful not to name names either, told Lady C that allegedly Meghan confessed to her in her teens, Meghan's teens, that she had found out that she was intersex. And what intersex means, for those of you who do not know, is that you present as female, to all intents and purposes look female, but have male chromosomes. So when it comes to puberty, the female reproductive organs don't develop, ovaries, uterus, the usual female menstruation doesn't happen, and of course the person cannot fall pregnant. There are other things that may or may not happen with this condition. For instance, as I say, the hands and feet that may seem larger than normal. And it is a very sensitive topic, a very difficult topic. And it's something that I've hesitated to read on. It is the one thing that all along I thought that if Meghan opened up about, For instance, in this famous book, Harry's book, that allegedly is going to make us all change our view of them and feel sorry for them, genuinely sorry for them, genuinely regretful for our unkindness and our criticism. This was the one thing that I thought would be it. If she actually opened up and said, this is what I found out about myself when I was a teenager, obviously, because she didn't start her normal female development as a teen, and very difficult, a real shock, something awfully, awfully difficult to deal with. If it is true, and I'm not saying for 1 second it is true, this is just the discussion and the theory that has been put forward. And it's the one thing that I thought, if she opened up about it and said, this is actually what's going on, this is why I had the pillow and all the rest of it, she would earn an awful lot of sympathy. And we're in a world where people are wrestling with their gender identities, wrestling with these kinds of questions. She would really become something of a hero, I would say, and an awful lot would be forgiven and an awful lot would be understood about her. And what's also interesting about this, and it needs a couple more shuffles, this pristine deck, but it's also interesting about it is it's the thing that people often speculate was the case with Wallis Simpson as well. The exact same condition, that she was intersex. She looked like a woman, but she did not have female reproductive organs and could not have children. And so, 7-card reading coming up with the Lunar Soul Tarot for you today. I'm going to ask for a signifier for her situation, who she is, what she is. I'm going to ask about that conversation with her, a long-time childhood friend in her teens, just to tell us about it. I'm going to ask how it affected her, if it did turn out to be true. How did she react? How did she feel when she found out? I'm going to ask if Harry knows. I'm going to ask if she can or cannot have children. And I'm going to ask how she's dealt with it in her life, and will we ever find out? So those are the 7 questions. Okay, we're falling out now. We are finally juiced up and ready to go. And just one more. Just one more. It's been a long intro. I know it drives some of you crazy, and maybe someone can timestamp it for me. Reading starting now. And just cutting the cards, I will lay out the 7 cards and explain them again as I go through them for you. And we will see what we will see. And as always, difficult to get these cards in. But I'll show them to you when we get to them. So, I'm not going to look at the underlying card, because I think we saw that with the duality card that came out as that sat in the box all by itself and wanted me to look at it. So, good enough for me. So, a signifier for Meghan Markle in this rather difficult reading. And we get the 10 of Wands in reverse. And whatever it is, I was hoping it would be very clear about a major arcana, an emperor or an empress, a very literal card. But it has not come out with a very literal card. It is a male figure on the card. Let's start there, the 10 of Wands. Somebody who is very heavily burdened by something. You could literally interpret that as a burden of having some kind of male attributes that are difficult in the context of this reading. It's in the reverse, and I would say that it's in the reverse because this is extra difficult. It's a burden that she would like to be shot of. She would like to put down, she would like to be rid of from her life. Whether it is true or not, the fact that people speculate about it must be terribly difficult for her. Terribly embarrassing, terribly intrusive. I can understand why the need for privacy. She obviously has done things in her life, allegedly, that have nothing to do with this, that might also, she wishes also to be buried, behavior that is less than exemplary from her past. But I can understand why she wants a certain amount of privacy around her, why the pregnancy was kept so quiet both times. She virtually went into hiding the second time around. The first time, of course, she was out and about, allegedly with her pillow, until it got very embarrassing. But that kind of behavior, that hyperfeminism, overreacting, overcompensating, could be explained by this kind of weird feeling that we all had when she was allegedly pregnant, that kind of weird feeling that we all have when she's around children, that something is wrong and we don't know what it is, could be explained by this. So there we have the 10 of Wands in reverse as the signifier for her. It's not a happy card. It is one of the very, very difficult cards in the tarot. So let's see what the cards want to tell us, these Lunar Soul cards, about the conversation with her friend, the energy around that. What was that all about? And the 2 of Wands is a duality card. I was just checking the astrological signs on that little flag there. It's just so literal. I'm actually in shock because it's the male symbol, Aries. Aries, the 2 of Wands, and it's got a male symbol on it. And 2s are, of course, the 2 of Wands is a conversation, an animated conversation with somebody, I would say, somebody that she trusts, somebody that she's known for a long time, about this masculine identity, this thing that she has found out about herself. It does look as if there was this conversation. It's not 10 of Swords, it's not Tower, it's not anything like that. It's more, I get excited teenage girls with that Wands energy, the 2 of Wands, chatter, chatter, chatter. Can you believe this? It would be before the true horror of it had dawned, of course, on her, and the consequences of it for her entire life, what it meant for her going forward. This is the discovery moment. It's quite exciting. It's, oh wow, look at this. But the cards have literally given me a male symbol on them as an answer to this question. And so let's see, how did she feel when she found out? I'm getting from this almost excited and oh, wow, drama, something that singles me out is different. But how did she feel when it really hit home? How did she feel about it? And there we get the 8 of Swords in reverse, but there is the trap. It's a very vivid depiction of someone who is stuck in a situation. We've got two cards now that have come out of someone who is stuck in a situation that they cannot escape from. The card is in the reverse. She wanted to escape from it. She wanted to make this go away. She wanted to be able to climb down this ladder and get away from this news, swords, words, doctors, people explaining things to her that were just really shocking, harrowing, scary, maybe, made her feel very alone. You can see from the 8 of Swords, she's up there on that pillar of rock. There is a ladder down, there is a way out, but for her it must have been really, really shocking. It must have been devastating. Don't need tarot cards to tell me that, but it's a very different energy from this, the conversation with a friend, and maybe she put a brave face on it with the friend, and maybe the friend heard the news and then it was never spoken of again or something like that, and so it's something that stayed in her mind, or his mind, let's put that there, her or his mind, that something that was a bit weird. Wow, did I really hear that? Was that really said to me? But for Meghan herself, according to these cards, very difficult, very, very difficult. 2 cards of being stuck in a situation and wanting to escape from the situation. So does Prince Harry know? And now I have to say, when I think about this, I think Prince Harry probably doesn't understand too much about the birds and the bees. Maybe I'm underestimating him, but I really have very little faith in his ability to understand female biology, reproductive biology, and all the rest of it at all. So let's see, does he know? Temperance, he may well with that card, Temperance in reverse, because it is the card of disharmony, of things being out of balance. the angel pouring the water from cup to cup, and it's very beautiful. And when it's upright, everything is in harmony, everything is peaceful, serene. There's a lot of healing energy in that card, balancing the elements, being in tune with nature. And the card is in the reverse, and it's our first major arcana that has come out. Big deal. It might have been a big shock when he found out. It might have been something that was told to him on his wedding night, oh, by the way, or very close to it, very close to the time when archbishops were practicing the ceremony in their little back garden in Kensington Palace, Nottingham Cottage, and she confessed, and he said, this is all speculation, I'm imagining the scene, and he said, don't worry, love, I still adore you, we'll find a way. She no doubt had worked out the way long before, but this is possibly what happened, and one of the reasons why the need to get away. It puts a different spin on everything. It really does, if any of this is true. So the question about children, can she have children? Yes or no? Can Meghan have children? There's always been talk that she did have a child. There's that woman at the golf tournament who said, what a shock that the royal family let someone into their ranks like Meghan, been married before, already has a child, divorced. And that goes round and round. I've seen it a few times, that interview where Meghan was a golf girl, I don't know what the name is for them, but paired up with some rich fellow playing a round of golf, whether on and off the golf course, we don't know, but certainly on the golf course she was paired with some chap, very popular with them, the lady said. And they're having pictures of her, of course, floating around. They're still out there where she looks pregnant a long time ago. So who knows? But let's see what the cards want to say about this. Can she or can she not have her own children? And we get the Ten of Cups in reverse. I'd say no. I was just checking the number of cups on this card, because normally there are 10, and that's why I was a bit hesitant when I drew it out. It's the Ten of Cups in reverse. The happy ever after. There's children in this card, and the children are in reverse. And it's a very diverse family. Look at that. There's a bit of a Prince Harry picture, character there on the left, red hair, his beard. There is a darker complexioned woman as the mother. There seem to be maybe two mothers. It's a very diverse family. As I say, this is a diversity deck. So families are blended families. Couples are not just the traditional man and woman. It is that kind of deck. But we got the Ten of Cups in reverse, and it looks like a big fat no. Interesting. Very interesting. So there, a consistent story coming from these cards. That it does seem as if this potentially, allegedly, did happen with her friend. It is an issue for her. Harry may well know about it, and it looks like she may well not be able to have her own children. So, even though the children, well, Archie does seem to have Markle features, how that happened, a mystery. Maybe there is part development of organs and not complete development of organs, which might explain some things. There apparently are different degrees of this condition. I am not a medical expert. I am not claiming any expert knowledge in this situation at all. So, how did she deal with it? Once she got used to the idea, how did it affect her? As I say, there is this hyperfeminism thing that apparently happens sometimes. How did she herself deal with it? We get the Hierophant in reverse. It's an interesting card, because the Hierophant is about the status quo, is about rules, is about faith. I think that it broke her faith with the universe. It broke her faith with the world almost. The Hierophant is one of the marriage cards. So it's led to a breakup of a marriage, possibly, with the Hierophant in reverse. It's marriage in the sense of ceremony and all of that, the rituals that you go through. It is obeying rules. It is staying on the high road, being in integrity with yourself and with the world around you. And it looks to me as if this had a lot to do with the fact that she became something of a rule breaker, that she really maybe went a bit wild with that card and is really very challenged by authority, by structures, by systems, by things like the royal family, because it's another meaning of the Hierophant is the mediator between the church and the state, between the divine and the human, all of that the royal family is supposed to signify. And we get it's interesting, there's a little girl in the front of this thing with a sword, and the sword is always the sword of truth, and it's in reverse. It may well have coloured her worldview, well of course it did, but made her react very negatively to tradition, to hierarchy, to rules, to things like that, and felt, well, they're not relevant to me, I'm different, I'm damaged to some extent, but I'm different, and maybe the difference was portrayed as you are special, as a way of dealing with it in the family. And I have not asked how the family dealt with it. I may pull a card. I've already gone on for 21 minutes though, so I don't think I will in this reading. The outcome, will we ever find out? Apart from Lady C and things like that, strength. It would have to take a lot of courage on her part. It would have to take a lot of, I want to say balls, which is an unfortunate word in the context of this reading. And I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I possibly can in this reading with my choice of language. Take a lot of courage, and she may at some stage, she may actually, we have the yin and yang symbol there very prominently in this, the sun and the moon very prominently, the Leo and the Virgo in this card. And that's Harry and Meghan. And if it comes out in the book, if they decide to go down this road, and maybe Lady C is softening the ground for that, sowing the seed, it does seem as if Harry and Meghan watch Lady C. She's one of the ways that people communicate with them, allegedly. I did a reading on that a while back. And Neil Sean seems to be another of the ones that communicates with Harry and Meghan very directly sometimes. It may be that they decide to talk about it. There would be an Oprah interview that would be worth watching, or a someone interview that would be worth watching. There would be sympathy. There would be saying, I was dealt this very difficult hand, and I am now going to come out and talk about it and be honest about it and be brave about it and tell you how it has affected my life, how it has challenged me, because the Strength card is about how you deal with challenges, and the card is upright. It may change everything. This could really be a game changer for them if they decide to go down this road. Of course, there are issues around Harry as well, which we won't get into now. It's there in the list of readings. I might pluck up the courage to do it soon. But that's the reading. And thank you for watching. Thank you to the Lunar Soul Tarot for speaking as it has. Thank you to Universe for speaking through it. And have a good Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow.